today we are talking about how does the year with no student option work? And Des is here to help answer some of those questions.
You're probably wondering how a year with no students actually works when you're a school. Well, this option is really focused and designed for schools who want to get started, but maybe you don't actually have educational experience. Maybe all you have is that dream. This option is for you because when you're building on a dream, it takes a whole team, and we help you put that whole team together.
I was going to say, that is not uncommon that we have people talk to us and say they feel like the Lord has really led them in their heart to open a co-op of some sort with education with their kids. And besides that, which is a great calling and it's something to go on, they really need some help of opening a school and what that looks like. So.
You don't have to have a location when you first start planning this. This option is ideal if you don't have the educational experience, if you don't necessarily have a location, if you don't have your support team yet or your staff yet. So we will help you develop that dream, create a plan, create a budget, look at all of the ins and outs of everything you need to get started.
Right. And we use the ACSI, the turnkey of how their examples are bullet points of how to start a school. So we utilize that with them. So we have a lot of support from numerous places to help you fulfill that dream, like you said.
And if you're unfamiliar with ACSI, that stands for the Association of Christian Schools International, which is where Enlightium Academy is doing our accreditation along with Cognia. And it's nice because taking a whole year to plan gives you lots of time to make a manageable timetable so you're not feeling stressed out.
Correct. An example is we cover how to create a school board for the school, and whether or not that is part of the church or part of the community, are parents involved in that. Most schools have that school board, and so that's an example of some of the things that we cover.
You know, I'd like to share a few of the other things that we cover. First, you're going to want to survey the parents and find out what kind of interest is there in the community, whether it's in your church community, whether it's in your general community, like what kind of interest is there going to be. And then research what it's going to take to open a private school in your city, in your state. Looking at things like the zoning for your building is super important. We help you walk through the decision-making process for deciding on the curriculum.
Yes.
And there are a lot out there, so we like to walk with you through that process.
Right, and along with that too, with the curriculum, we have a curriculum here at Ignitia that we provide with all the teaching available. There are other curriculums that we use or that we approve a school to use. So we would recommend and actually encourage you to look at other curriculum besides ours that may fit what you're wanting, and that is doable. With EA.
And that's a great point. There are lots of curriculums out there. We have negotiated contracts with the ones that we use, and we're able to pass those discounts on to you. Doesn't mean you're locked into those, but it's always nice to take advantage of discounts when you can. One of the things we also walk schools through is creating a school calendar. You can adopt the Enlightium calendar, which we encourage. However, based on where you live, maybe you don't want to start the last couple weeks of August. Maybe you want to start at a different time, earlier or later perhaps.
Yes. And we do offer that for beginning and the end of the school year on there. So we are open to going around what fits your community on things like that. We also we're going to talk about advertising that we help, and that can take a long time to have somebody work with you on marketing and advertising to the community and being able to communicate what you're about, what the school is going to look like, who you're going to serve in a way that is engaging people to be excited about the school that you're opening up.
Advertising and branding is everything, and having someone who knows the ins and outs of media to really make your school look fantastic on the front end is really a great way to go.
It is worth every penny in that beginning part that will set you up for success for the coming years.
Speaking of pennies, we got to work on that budget.
Budget's good.
Got to determine a budget and figure out, what are your line items? What do you have to look at? And that's one of the things we walk with you in this process is developing that budget, see what makes sense for you in your area, because that's going to really drive your tuition prices for your students.
It is, and we also walk through the part that you do have to pay for the structure and for the lights and for the teachers there. So there's a lot that goes into creating a budget when you're starting a school.
Absolutely. Technology, that's a big one. What technology is going to be best for students?
Right.
For the Ignition curriculum, using a computer or a laptop is necessary. The curriculum does not work well on iPads or phones or other small devices like that. One of the things you'll want to consider are the state requirements for your area and your facility. Things that you will have to look at are the student-teacher ratios for age groups, for where you're located, and these are things that we walk you through in the process, where to find this information and how to make sure you're filling out the correct paperwork.
Right, and we help with the registration with your state, education system that may need to be done also.
Hiring. You might need to find people to teach, and so we help you.
We will help you hire teachers.
We can help you with the hiring. We can help you, give you rubrics. We can be as involved in your hiring process and vetting process, doing background checks with your teachers as you want. Because you're starting a school, background checks are crucial. You need to have them.
Very much so.
This hiring personnel is not a spot you can skimp on.
Right. Very.
And then the fun part, you gotta plan your open house. You gotta open your doors and say, come, see what we have to offer and all the hard work we put in, because the school year is gonna come faster than you know.
That's the fun part, I think, right there, is when you start opening the doors and having people come in and be able to explain to them your vision of the school that you put together with a lot of people, I'm sure, in your community and in your church and things. So it just kind of seeing it come together in fruition is very rewarding.
Yeah. And one thing with this Year with No Students option is all along the way, you actually get executive support. So if you want us to meet remotely with your board, we are happy to get that scheduled and answer questions as you're developing a board, what that looks like as you're developing a plan. And that's something that comes included with this package, is making sure that all your questions are getting answered and you're ready to hit the ground running. Thank you for joining us today on our talk about what it looks like to have a year with no students. We look forward to having you join us next time.